Okay, so I am back today. Yesterday I made the St. John's wort tincture, and then I let the St. John's wort, half the St. John's wort sit overnight so that some of the moisture would come out of it. I put this paper towel over it to keep it from getting dust on it. So this is what it looks like now. And notice it's wilted, it's a little bit dry. I think I explained yesterday, but I'll say it again. The reason why we want to let it sit for 24 hours or overnight is to get some of the moisture out, because when we make an infused oil, if there's too much moisture in it, it can cause spoilage. And you don't want all of your hard work to, go down the drain because you didn't do this step. So in my garden this year, I don't have a lot of St. John's wort. So normally you would take a jar and you would pack it tight and you would pack it full most of the way up before you pour your oil into it. So I'm just getting some of the seeds in there. So you would, pack it down tight. And you'd fill it up, much higher to make the oil. But like I said, I don't have quite enough to do that, and I haven't had the time to go walk on my parents' property and collect more. So I'm just using organic olive oil from Costco. And you're just gonna pour it over the top. Now notice there's little bubbles coming up. You wanna get those bubbles out. So, yeah, you can see it doing its little bubbling. So in order for what I do to get all the bubbles out is I stick a butter knife in there, and I kind of move it around. I'm not sure what that is, but I don't think I like the looks of it, so I'm going to take that out of my oil. And to be sure, you can always, tap it on the counter to get more of the air bubbles out. I'm going to go ahead and fill this all the way up, because it's important not to have a whole lot of air in there, because that can also, cause some spoilage if there's like any moisture in it. Okay, so then I'm going to cap this, and I'm going to label it with what it is, the oil used, and the date. And then I'm going to stick it in a sunny place so that it'll like sun infuse. And I'll come back and check it every day. And when I check it, I'll also open it just to make sure to see if there's any moisture on top. And if there is, I'm just gonna leave the cap off so that can evaporate. And if you're concerned about, dust getting in it, you can also cover it with a paper towel or a cloth, cheesecloth, something like that. And I will continue to update you on this. I will take pictures throughout the process and show you. A lot of times this will turn a beautiful red. Here's the tincture we made yesterday. I'm not sure if you can see it in this light. it shows up better in pictures, but the liquid is very red. And in the past, I've used Everclear, which you have to drive to Montana to get. This is 100 proof vodka. It is much easier to come by and available here in Idaho. The only time you'd ever want to use, absolutely use Everclear is if you're doing, you know, extracting bark or roots, something like that that's really, you know, hard. But when I've used the Everclear after I've let this sit for, you know, 4 weeks, the St. John's wort almost turns like a paper white. Not quite white, but it looks like paper. So we'll see what happens with the 100 proof vodka. This is the first time I've used 100 proof vodka for this. Okay, so if you have any questions, please let me know. And as I said, I will continue to update you with how these things are going.